Hello students, in this lecture we will start our discussion on the topic power system reliability and security. It is module number 5 of your syllabus. In this chapter or in this module especially we are going to discuss about power system security aspects first, then we will be continuing our discussion with power system reliability. In fact, power system security and reliability, they depend on each other. So now let us see how they are correlated and how a power engineer can take care of power system security and reliability. Power system has to be designed to provide electrical supply to the consumers economically, continuously and of good quality. However, in spite of very good planning and due to uninterruptible or unpredictable and uncontrollable random failures of equipments, it may not be possible to meet the demand all the time. In this discussion, we will be studying about the power system reliability and security. We have already seen that the modern power systems are very complex and highly integrated. Blackouts cause massive losses to the economy. The loss also includes adverse environmental and societal costs, which are indirect. To reduce the probability of occurrence of such events and to reduce the frequency and duration of grid failures, we need to invest in plannings, design and operating phases. Now let us see what is the power system security. So power system security is defined here as the power system or to this issue we can look as it is the probability of the system's operating point remaining within acceptable ranges given the probabilities of changes in the system and its environment. In simple words, we can say that we have to ensure the operation of the power system's various elements such as the generator side, transmission line side as well as on the load side. All the devices must be operating in the acceptable ranges. Okay, so if we are able to do that, then we can say that our power system is secure. In other words, we can relate this to the ability of the system to meet the demand under dynamic disturbances in the system. So what are the dynamic disturbances taking place in the power system? Mainly in our power system, two types of dynamic disturbances may take place. The first type is there may be failure on the generator side or failure on the line side. Suppose for example, among n generators which are supplying our load uninterruptedly, one of the generator who is having the largest generating capacity gets failed suddenly. Then in this situation also our power system must be able to supply uninterruptedly to the present load. So if we are able to do this, we can say that our power system is secure. Or the other case we can consider that there is a fault or there is a contingency on the transmission line. Okay, so the term contingency we are going to refer here as a disturbance or as a fault. Okay, so now let us see that if there is a contingency on the transmission line, suppose a transmission line which is supplying a load, it is fully loaded, it is loaded to its maximum extent, and such a transmission line due to some of the fault it gets interrupted, okay, or there is a breakdown of one of the transmission line. So in this case, okay, where the transmission line which has fault now or there is a contingency on that transmission line now, okay, it was fully loaded and such a transmission line is now not able to supply to the load. Okay, so now in this situation, okay, there should not be any interruption of the load. Then only we can say that our power system is secure. So under such situation, how we are going to manage that load uninterruptedly? Okay, so if by taking the help of another supplementary transmission line and if we can supply that load uninterruptedly, then we can say that again our power system is secure. So like this, there will be mainly two two types of contingencies. What the contingencies on the generator side and contingencies on the transmission line side. Okay, so if we are able to manage our power systems functioning or operation without any interruption under the disturbances on the generator or the load side, then we can say that power system is secure. Now on the power system, whenever there is any contingency, then power system's state will get changed. Okay, so regarding various states of the power system, already we have discussed previously. So here also we are just going to have a recap of what are the various security states of the power system. This figure shows the various states of power systems operation. So this is taken from the paper Operating Under Stress and Strain. It is a IEEE spectrum paper by the authors Fink and Carlsen. Okay, so in this particular figure, okay, we can see that there are as many as 5 states or 5 levels of power system security are given, and how the transition from one state to other state take place, that also is explained here. So this can be also called as a state transition diagram. Okay, the first state is called as a normal state, or it can also be called as a secure state. Okay, so we always expect that our power system operates normally or it operates in a secure state. Then this power system can change its state from secure or normal state to alert state in case there are the contingencies. Okay, so this arrow shows the contingency. Okay, so right now if our power system is in the secure state, in presence of contingency it can fall down to the next level, and that level we can call as a alert level. Okay, so this is alert level is a second state of operation. So now what is secure state? How can we define this secure state? Is at this level the load is supplied without violating any limits. Then none of the contingencies will cause any violation of the system parameters. In this level the network will supervise any contingencies without the need of post contingency action. So this we call as a secure or normal state. Now what is this alert state? How can we explain this alert state? Okay, so this alert state is nothing but all the load is supplied without violating any limits as it was in level 1 or as it was in the normal level. Then contingencies do not cause any load loss if an appropriate control action is taken. Okay, so here it is indicated that if we take the preventive control in the alert state, okay, our system can go back once again to the normal or secure state. Okay, so that is all about the alert state. Now in the alert state, if there is a contingency, then the power system will fall down to one more level of security, and this level we are calling as a emergency level. Okay, so in this emergency level, okay, what exactly happens is here also all the load is supplied but with operating limits violation. Okay, so here you can see that in every state there are two parameters mentioned. Those are nothing but E and I. Okay, so these are equality constraint and inequality constraints. And this is inequality constraint. I bar is nothing but if this inequality constraint is violated, then we represent it as I bar. Okay, so therefore here in emergency state we can see that the inequality constraint is violated. Okay, so that is what is happening over here. There will be in this state all the load is supplied but with operating limits violated. Okay, so these violation can be corrected without loss of load. Okay, so these violations, if they are corrected with the help of emergency control, then our system will once again get back to the alert state, and here with the help of preventive control once again we can go back to the secure state. Okay, so that is all about the emergency state. Then in this state, okay, so if further we are not able to initialize any control signals, okay, then what can happen is our system can fall down to one more level in its security, and that state we can call as extremist state. Okay, so this extremist state, all the load are supplied with violation of operating limits. The situation can be corrected only by loss of load. The duration and amount optimized by an optimal power flow program here. Okay, so up to emergency state we were able to supply the load without any interruption. Okay, but in extremist state what happens is we cannot control the power system without shutting down any of the load. So in this case some of the load which is not more sensitive, okay, so that load will be, there will be loss of that load or interruption of that load, and with interruption of that load, okay, the remaining part of the load will be supplied in the extremist state. So therefore here we have shown that equality constraint E and inequality constraint I both are violated. Okay, then next state we have represented here is a restorative state. Okay, so in the restorative state the operating limits are not violated, but the system is operating with loss of load. Okay, so whenever we will be resynchronizing our system, okay, it will come back or it will come out of this extremist state and it will try to recover itself to reach to the secure state once again. So this is such a intermediate state. Okay, so what happens in this state is the operating limits are violated. Okay, so some of the operating limits are still violated, but our system is operating with loss of load. Okay, so this is nothing but the restorative state. Okay, so in restorative state once again we can pick up the all load and we can reach to the secure state. Okay, so this is all about the state transition diagram, or we can call it as what are the different levels of security in our power system. Okay, so with this, okay, so we have just seen what is the importance of security, power system security, and what are the various levels of power system security.